Call Halayim La Yahweh Bashmi Al Shah Wahako Dashukar. Double honors to the apostles and the elders at the great millstone. Peace and blessings to the faithful elect, those slated to be saved. The men teaching the truth, the doctrine of Yahweh Bashmi Al Shah across the four corners of the globe. And the men, women, and children have turned back to their heritage and are in the doctrine, the faith of Yahweh Bashmi Al Shah according to their works. And those slated to be saved are the Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians, Negroes, West Indians, so-called Afro-Indigenous people scattered and saved from what? From the destruction that's been declared from the beginning to happen to America, which is codenamed in the Bible as the daughter of Babylon, and many other aliases as well. The destruction will come to different parts of the globe, but primarily here, and to all the wicked inhabitants thereof. All right, so shalom. So pretty much this is something I want to touch on real quick, and that's the awakening, the great awakening, and this theme we've been under since so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians start pretty much fulfilling the prophecy of the Lord, it being written aforetime that we would wake up. And then eventually in the New Testament, it tells us how it would be a falling away, and then going back aforetime in the Old Testament told us we would discontinue, and that discontinue from what? Our heritage. From who we were, who we actually are, knowing who we are, so-called Latinos, Native American Indians, West Indians, so-called Negroes, blacks, West Indians, and we'll forget completely who the hell they are, and the end times and the end of the last days, they would remember. All right, now that's prophecy, the prophecy of us being foretold to awake. So let's just prove that real quick, awakening. So let's start with this is Ephesians 5:14, whereas he said, awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead. See, that's so awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Hamashiach shall give thee light. So our people will completely sleep. You see that? It says, see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. So it says that we will awake. Yahushua will come to awake us, and do what? Physically first, which is during his first coming, and then in the spirit when we actually, fall away from those times, over time, from when he first walked, so-called, but just keeping it simple. So it says, wherefore as he said, awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Hamashiach shall give thee light. And that's this word. Yahushua is in the volume of this book, this whole, holy Bible, Apocrypha included, and it's going to actually give us light. It's going to put us on game. But it says, seeing then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, because that's the notion that you're asleep, because you're walking how you're carrying yourself. All right, this is Sirach 22:7. It says, whoso teacheth a fool is as one that glueth a potsherd together. So a broken pot, right? You glue it back together with some Elmer's Fudd, but it's completely broke already. And as he that waketh one from a sound sleep. And then I'm gonna read it one more time. It says, whoso teacheth a fool is as one that glueth a potsherd together, and as he that waketh one from a sound sleep. So a fool is somebody that's completely sound sleep, man. Because it's the state of mind you in. These people are completely out of whack. They don't have it all together. Hence the broken potsherd. Obviously, it's broken if it has to be glued back together. So that's a fool. And if you're a fool, that's just saying a certain state of mind you're in. You don't have it all together. And hence, to tired all home, you are actually asleep. And that's the state of our people. All right? So the Lord said, awake and don't be as these people anymore, because we redeeming the times that the days are evil. You know, because if you're asleep, you ain't gonna know that. So this is to go back into the history a little bit. This is Baruch 2 to prove that. It says Baruch 2, and I'm gonna start at 30. It says, for I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves, and shall know that I am the Lord their God. See that? For I give them an heart and ears to hear. See that? And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name, and shall return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds. For they shall remember the way of their fathers, which sinned before the Lord. See that? And I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall be lords of it. And I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. And I will make it. So the Lord is gonna. This is what you see and happen. And we're at the end of it, because now we're seeing our people, those that are in this truth, you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians, West Indians that are in this truth. You're no longer being stiff-necked. You're turning from your wicked deeds, and you're remembering the ways of our forefathers, man. And now, at the end of all of that, once that's done, and guess what? It's being done while you're still in slavery. So that's how we know we're fulfilling this. This is hence the Great Awakening. Verse 34, and I will bring them again into their land, into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall be lords of it. You see, and they shall be lords of it. We're going to be lords again. And I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished. I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their God, and they shall be my people. And I will no more drive my people of Israel out of the land that I have given them. So that ain't happened yet. But we're in the time of completing that process. So this is Romans 13 and 11, and that knowing the time, that now is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than we believe. So we are awakening to these facts. You see that? And I'm going to just prove that. We jump to Isaiah 51 and 17. Awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem, which has drunk at the hand of Yahweh the cup of his fury. See that? Thou hast drunken the dregs of the cup, trembling, and wrung them out. See that? So our people are going to tell you how our people, in the next verse, there is none to guide her among all the sons whom she hath brought forth. Neither is there any that taketh her by the hand of all the sons that she hath brought up. See that? So our people, and then it tell you in the next verse, we're going to be sorry for us. So the Lord is telling us, awake, awake, awake. Come out of this state that we're in. Remember who we are, because that brings me into the lesson. There's undertone to awakening. You see, if you sleep, if I tell you I'm bringing you a check at 11:30, but you sleep to 2:30, you know, you're going to miss out on that, man. So that's why he need us to awake and come to realization about why we need to become alert and realize what's going on. You have promises that's been foretold to us, man. But there's a deeper message to this, man. So the lesson, pretty much going to the lesson now, is how it's an undertone to awakening. Now, when you go into the word undertone, it says a subdued or muted tone of sound or color. So it's something that's there, but it's like it's hidden. You see, it's subdued, it's muted. It's like when you got the TV on, and it's clearly someone talking. You see their lips moving, so they got to be saying something, but no sound is being perceived. Actually, it's not obvious if it wasn't muted. So it says of sound or color. See that? So it says let's see. Yeah, so synonyms would be undercurrent, hint, overtone, suggestion, connotation, nuance. Let's see. Implication. Let's get implication. It says the conclusion that could be drawn from something, although it is not explicitly stated. And what's that? When you think about waking up, we're going to come right back to this. When you think about waking up, it's already written, everybody's going to awake, right? Let me go ahead and grab that. We just went into why it's important to wake up and come to the realization, the understanding, get ourselves together for what's to come so we can receive what's to come or be prepared for what's to come. See that? Why? Because this is Daniel 12:2. And many of them, it says, that shall sleep in the dust. Slack it. I'm going to start at 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble. See that? That's what's getting ready to come. That's the redeeming the days, because they're evil. See that? It says, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. It says, and at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. And you think these people will be asleep when all hell is breaking loose? And it's time to get the hell out of here and escape the danger? No, they will be awoke. So that's the great awakening, right? But it says, and many of them that sleep in the dust, you caught up in the earth, you caught up in the world. You see what I'm saying? You caught up in man's doings. You see that? It says, shall awake. And then ultimately this is going into, because it's manifold, it's really going into those that are dead. You see what I'm saying? It says, some to everlasting life and some to shame and everlasting contempt, because as I said, it's manifold. When you thinking of sleeping, you're not, when you think of the notion of awakening, it's many faces to it. It's many faces to awakening. You see, it's not just physically getting up out of bed. Awakening is when you come back to your senses. Awaken is when you able to go do whatever. You see what I'm saying? When you awake, everybody wakes up in the morning or whenever they may wake up, from their state of pretty much an unconsciousness, a state of that. Everybody awakes to something else. You see that? To something different. They go do different things. But also on a simple level, when you think of awakening, we just went into simply how it's in the mind. You're awakening in your mind. So that's why I say, and many of them that sleep in the dust shall awake, some to everlasting life and some to shame and everlasting contempt. So yeah, when you awake in your mind, that's simply when you get it together and realize what the hell is going on. You need to, you see what I'm saying? You awake and you see you might need to go outside and do, get the snow off your car because it just snowed and you didn't know it when you were asleep. You see that? You simply. But let me read it one more time. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life and some to shame and everlasting contempt. So when everybody awakes to the realization of something or whatever it is they need to do, we're awakened to those in the truth. We awaken to the fact that we need to get ourselves together because we got these promises coming to us. But simply, that's what coming back to your senses. When you physically awake, you come back to your senses. You got to readjust your eyes, clean yourself up, clean your breath. You come to your senses on things that you may need to do or that's going on once you awake, or what's your situation when you wake up, when you come to your senses. Damn, I need to brush my teeth stink. Damn, I need to eat something hungry as hell. Damn, I need to go fix that car. Look, these ones about to hit my car. Let me go move it. You look out the window. So we, in this truth, we have awakened to the fact we need to come get ourselves together and be prepared and be positioned to be delivered, Lord willing. To be appease the Lord, to be accepted of Yahweh Shai. To get into this book while we still can, so we can get the light for when the darkness come and be enlightened on what's going on. And you got some, when they awake, they gonna awake to the fact that they didn't do none of that and they should have been doing that. You see what I'm saying? And then on a further level, you got Esau, man. You got Esau awakening. You got the awakening of Esau. See that? So now let's get that word undertone, right? The synonym, another one was insinuating. So this is the undertone. It's a complete undertone to awakening. A undertone, when you go into the word undertone, the synonym, another synonym here is insinuation, an unpleasant hint, you see, or suggestion of something bad. See that? Because everybody got the option to awake to something. They're going to come to their senses on something, you see? Now let's get the word awakening. See that? Awakening. It says an act of waking from sleep, simply. An act or moment of becoming suddenly aware of something. So this is good news, man. For some it's good news, for some it's bad news. You see that? But for us, it's the gospel. And it's the whoo, man. This is the Lord's doing. It is marvelous in our eyes, as the scriptures say in the book of Psalms. See that? This is Job 27. And I'm gonna start at 13. This is the portion of a wicked man with God and the heritage of oppressors, which they shall receive of the Almighty. So we have awakened and come to our senses. Wait, these people got something coming to them. And they're gonna eventually awake to this. You see that? In which they are. All right. Now, this is verse 19. The rich man, it says, the rich man shall, you know what? I'm gonna start at 17. It says, no, let me start at 16. Though he heap up silver as the dust and prepare it as the raiment, he may prepare it, but the just shall put it on. You see that? So we can wake up to the fact we see these people coming up getting all this stuff, and they just finna have to give it over to me, to you, to us, to my people, man, to our people. These Israelites that have been chosen to awake, man, and hopefully stay awake until this thing is over with, all the way to this thing being over with. It says, though he heap up silver as dust and prepare raiment, he may prepare it, but the just shall put it on, and the innocent shall divide the silver. It says, he buildeth his house as a moss, and as a booth that the keeper maketh. The rich man shall lie down. The rich man shall lie down, yeah, because it tell you that they're in their rest. You see what I'm saying? And Micah 2, it says, but he, matter of fact, let me get that real quick. This is Micah chapter 2 and 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. See that? What you do in the bed? You rest. You see, you lay down. You sleep. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. So yeah, this talking about the so-called white man, the wicked. Start with the elite bankers, man. So-called elite bankers. It says, the rich man shall lie down, but he shall not be gathered. What gathered? When we gathered from the four corners of the earth, man, and beamed up. You see that? So he gonna lie down, because when you go into that word lie down, it literally means relax, man. When you go into that word lie, it means to relax, man. But he shall not be gathered. And when you go into that word gathered, it means to the Father, man. Beamed up. But Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah, he opened his eyes, and he is not. You see that? So he gonna wake to this, man. Terrors take hold of him as waters. And that's going into piss and urine and men. It says tempest stilleth him away in the night. So that's what the so-called white man is about to wake to, man. So this is the undertone of awakening. You see, and it's beautiful. This is marvelous in our eyes. Lord has been edifying. We give our honor, praise, and glory to Heavenly Father. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Wahakadas Fakad is good news, man. Till next time, Shalom.